sport. It could be any sport. And it just doesn't make that big a news. And we are in the middle of an NFL season. And so an NBA trade is big on Twitter, but it's not going to be on our shows very much. And I look at what the Lakers did by getting Dennis Schroeder. And I said this last week. I'm like, wow, that's like a huge move for a defending champ to massively upgrade from a position point guard that can run the show. And then they add Montrezl Harrell. And Marc Gasol is a very good low-post defender. And I wake up this morning and I think to myself, does everybody understand that the defending champs got significantly better over the weekend? Am I hyperbolic here?
No.
Did you see the same thing?
You're not hyperbolic at all. It's great to talk to you as always, Colin. They are the massive favorites. They were the favorites before free agency. Now you have to ask yourself if you could have them or the field. Would you rather have the Lakers or all 29 other teams? I think they're the favorites against the field. Here's the story for LeBron James teams the last decade. Can you survive the 6 to 10 minutes a game he's off the court? If the answer to that question is yes, you win the title. And this team not only can survive those minutes, but I think they can win those minutes.
Yeah.
Right now, Colin, Kyle Kuzma is their 10th man. They address all of the needs. And the other element is this. Teams in the West got better, but the contenders in the West didn't get better. The Nuggets lost Jeremy Grant. The Clippers got no better. The Warriors, unfortunately, lost Clay. The Rockets are, who knows who's going to be on the Rockets. The Jazz stood pat. So, the Suns got better, right? The Timberwolves got better out west. But those teams aren't competing. The contenders that got better are all in the East. Milwaukee got better. Brooklyn's going to be way better. The Sixers are going to be better. The Celtics, I don't think they got better. And the Heat got a little bit better. The one major loss the Lakers had, Colin, is Avery Bradley. And with respect to Avery, they won the title without him. I mean, I don't blame him for not being in the bubble, but there's no question about can they win without him? Well, they did. So, yeah, it was a masterful offseason by Rob Pelinka. And the Lakers, I would be, barring an injury, I would be shocked if they don't win the title, and I'm saying that before the season even starts.
No, I felt the same thing, and I did yesterday. I had 9 guys. I said this generally, and you put it better, but I looked at it and I thought, LeBron could not play, and they could win a game because with AD and Marc Gasol and Harrell, they're big enough, and they've got enough perimeter guys they could score. So I agree with you. I will ask you this.
Can I add one thing quick on Harrell? Listen, Harrell has some limitations, and he wasn't on his best in the bubble. I think some of that was the rust, and some of that was the loss of his grandmother, which really seemed to affect him. But Harrell's biggest weakness is he is not a rim protector at all, and he's a bad defensive player. The Clippers could not cover up for that because they had no other rim protection. You know how you cover up for that? Playing with Anthony Davis. And so when Anthony Davis doesn't like playing the 5, right? So he's going to be on the court a lot with either Gasol or Harrell. What teams typically try to do is put their center on Anthony Davis, and then what teams would do last year is put their power forward on Dwight or JaVale and essentially say, if you want to run post-ups to Dwight or JaVale because you have a size advantage, fine. If that's not an efficient possession. Montrezl Harrell will eat that alive against an undersized power forward. So he fits with the Lakers more than he fit with the Clippers, given how the team's built.
Nick Wright joining us. So it's easy to blame Brady for the picks, but I'm going to throw something at you.
Awful. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So Carson Palmer, career high in interceptions. Bruce Arians is coach. Jameis, career high in interceptions. Arians is coach. Andrew Luck, career high in interceptions. Arians is coach. Brady's on pace for 15 interceptions, career high. Arians is coach. As the McVays and the LaFleurs and the young coaches have come into this league, the old school, no biscuit, risk it, over the top, low percentage throws, it's not as quarterback friendly in 2020 as people think. And Brady is being asked at 43 to throw the ball deep behind a hit and miss offensive line. Is that Arians is more responsible for this than Brady?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely make that case if I was a dyed-in-the-wool Brady apologist. So, yeah, that's all you've got left at this point. Here's the reality, Colin. If you have a pass rush, the Bucs offense can't function. If there's no pass rush, they can look amazing. Watch the Panther game. Watch the Raider game, the second half in particular. If you cannot create pressure, Brady looks like he's 33, not 43. But the moment there's pressure, even the tiniest glimpse of it, and I don't blame him, the guy's not in the business of getting hit anymore. That game-sealing interception, he wasn't even pressured, but his center had just gone out of the game. I think he anticipated the pressure and got rid of that football. And I am old enough to remember when, if you are giving the ball back to Tom Brady with 2 minutes left, down, up only 3, your best-case scenario is overtime. And instead, Brady had a minute 50, 2nd and 10 with a timeout in his pocket, 25 yards from field goal range, and he punted it to Tampa Bay. And he could have had a third interception in that game that was dropped. He had a fumble in the end zone that somehow was called an incomplete pass. Their best offense was trying to bait the refs into calling pass interference penalties. I mean, listen, man, if there's a pass rush, the Bucs are going to lose. And that doesn't even get to. I'd love to hear. I didn't hear the beginning of the show. I assume you led with it. An evisceration of Tom Brady for once again snubbing the opposing quarterback. I mean, is there sportsmanship dead in America? What's happening down there?
I didn't even notice. So he didn't shake Goff's hand last night?
Again, you didn't notice. So listen, here's what we know about Tom Brady. When he wins the Super Bowl, he shakes hands. He shook Goff's hand after that Super Bowl. The 3 Super Bowls he's lost, he didn't shake Eli's hand. He didn't shake Eli's hand. Then he didn't shake Foles' hand. This year, he didn't shake Foles' hand. He was like, no, I only really do that with guys I have a relationship with, despite the fact that when they beat Justin Herbert, they had a nice, long, warm embrace at midfield, even though he met Herbert that morning. And then last night, he pouts and sulks and storms off the field after a loss. So, listen, I gave him a pass for the Foles one, because if you remember, that was he didn't know what down it was game. So in Brady's defense, he thought it was halftime. So he's going in the locker room like, oh, damn, I forgot. Last night, I don't know how you give him a pass for it. But, nobody asked him about it because the media is a bunch of Colin Cowherd that just love him so much. God forbid you ask him tough questions. So maybe we'll find an answer.